When people are going into the federal prison system, one of the programs that they really search to learn information about is RDAP. And there's an entire cottage industry out there of people who try to say, I can get you into RDAP. Okay, the reality is you don't need to hire anybody to get you into RDAP. What you need to do is develop a mindset of saying, I am going to learn everything I possibly can about this program to make sure that I qualify. I really would discourage you from hiring a prison consultant or anybody who makes representations that they can get you into a program in the Bureau of Prisons, because that is all really just a predator preying on you and on your fear of what's coming. Now, RDAP is a very important program, without a doubt. It is a program that can result in people getting up to 12 months off of their sentence, and that's over and above additional time that you can get cut from your sentence. But not everybody qualifies for RDAP. So it's important to understand a little bit about the history of it, a little bit about what to expect if you go through that program, and a little bit about how you need to prepare yourself before your pre-sentence investigation report if you think the RDAP program is right for you. Now, I will tell you, in every federal prison, you're going to meet people who wishes they would have known about RDAP very early on in the journey. Many of those people participate in their pre-sentence investigation report under the delusion that they should not reveal their history with alcoholism or substance abuse because they think it'll make them look worse in the eyes of the judge. The reality is nothing could be further from the truth. What the judge wants is honesty. He wants to know that you have thought about your crime, you've thought about the impact it has had on the lives of others, on society. He wants to know that you're giving thoughtful consideration to how you got here and what you're doing to make things better. And the more thought you put into that, the more effective you're going to be. You are the CEO of your life. No prison consultant can help you do that. They can manufacture a lot of stories and put a lot of boilerplate together, but you live in the real world and you know the power of artificial intelligence, and you can do this on your own. So I would really encourage you, stop and think before you waste money on people that are trying to prey upon you, especially when it comes to saying, I can get you into RDAP. There are even people who put RDAP into their name. I can do this, I can do that. Bunch of nonsense. You can qualify very simply by understanding, well, what is RDAP? Okay, it's the residential drug abuse program that the Bureau of Prisons offers. I can give you a history of that RDAP because I was incarcerated back since 1987, and that program didn't begin awarding time off until a Comprehensive Crime Control Act of 1994. So there was a lot of movement and actions that went into that program long before anybody got time off of that term. But the program itself is a 9-month program. It's supposed to be 500 hours in length and includes some type of aftercare with a program once you get out of prison that's going to require you to go to counseling. It has group living. So if you're enrolled in RDAP, you are going to transfer into the RDAP unit. It focuses on different types of cognitive behavioral therapy that is going to help you think differently about your life and what what got you here. So, this is nothing new. This is something you should be doing anyway. And I would really encourage you to learn the strategies for that we teach on Prison Professors. But to qualify for the program, what you want to do is make sure that you're eligible. To become eligible, you have to have a documented substance abuse disorder with alcohol or drugs within 12 months before your arrest. Okay? This is a self-reported disorder. Okay, you don't have to, it would help you if you sought treatment before, but you don't have to show treatment before. What has to happen is when you're doing your pre-sentence investigation report, the probation officer is going to ask you, can you tell me about any history you have with substance abuse or alcoholism? That's the moment of truth. You have to, at that point, describe your history. If you say, I have a couple of drinks at dinner once a week, you're not going to qualify. It's that simple. And probation officers may even kind of induce you to say that if they're not, being honest with you. The reality is, if you want to use this time to truly divulge any history you have with substance abuse. So I'm going to give you an example of a statement that you could give to a probation officer that would absolutely qualify you for RDAP based on the policy. It's really quite simple. Yes, I recognize that I've had a problem with substance abuse. It began when I was in high school. I started hanging around the wrong people. I smoked weed. Later, as I grew older, I quit smoking weed as much and started really drinking. Over the past several years, it's become worse, primarily because of the stress that I was kind of feeling, knowing that there's a potential for a problem. It was a problem that my family had tried to warn me about, especially when they found me blackout drunk. And I would deny that I didn't have a problem. I would say I could handle it myself. And I've tried a couple of times to quit going cold turkey. It hasn't worked out. I've relapsed a few times. I think I'm doing better right now. But the truth is that I drank way too much. Looking just at my history of being with people, I recognize that the business that I was in involved a lot of social interactions, and many people can handle social drinking. For me, it became a little bit more than I could bear. I'm somewhat embarrassed to say it, but it has resulted in difficulties in my career, in my family, in my life, and I hope to resolve that while I'm in prison. If you said that during your probation report, your probation officer is going to document it. Now you've got a documented substance use disorder. But if you said, I quit 3 years ago, well, it doesn't matter, because the rules state it has to be within 12 months before your arrest, okay? And it should be documented in your pre-sentence investigation report, or you could have a medical record. Well, let's say that you had sought treatment from a substance abuse provider. Well, there would be records, and those records could supplement the PSR report or go into your sentencing hearing. If you have an immigration detainer or certain violent offenses, your offense may disqualify you for the 12 months off in RDAP. But that's why it's so important for you to learn, because it's going to be the Bureau of Prisons drug abuse treatment staff that is going to have the final determination. They have discretion. Remember, the judge sentenced you to the custody of the Attorney General of the United States, and that means you're in the Bureau of Prisons. And BOP staff have a lot of discretion on what they do. So the more you know about that in advance, before your pre-sentence investigation report, the more effective you can be. Now, it's critical that your PSR documents it, because staff, if it doesn't, their initial assessment is going to say, we're going to deny you candidacy to participate in RDAP. But if you're beyond the PSR report and before sentencing, you still may be able to document your story by getting records from a licensed substance abuse treatment provider who will verify that they have been providing you treatment, as long as that treatment is 12 months before the date of your arrest. You might even bring them in as a, an expert witness at your sentencing hearing. But the real key would be to have your defense attorney ask the judge to document and recommend substance abuse by making a finding that you need RDAP while you're in prison. Because if it's not in your PSR, but it is in your statement of reasons, you're just in a much better position to overcome the complications that you'll face by the BOPs requiring you to have documentation. So make sure that you document it in your PSR. If you have not documented it in your PSR because you weren't prepared for some reason or another, then seek a treatment provider, hopefully that provided the treatment within 12 months or before your arrest, and it will help you qualify. And while you're in the program, you'll kind of understand why it helps you, right? It will help you by getting you to kind of introspect on your life, right? This program is not only for drug addicts. It's not going to guarantee, everybody's going to qualify. It's not, the only thing that it's going to do is qualify you for a program. Well, and hopefully it'll help you overcome substance abuse, but it'll have the ancillary effect of getting you qualifying for an earlier release date. So this is super important. A lot of people don't understand it until they've already disqualified themselves from participating. So I just like to make sure people are not wasting money by hiring charlatans and con men who tell you, oh, for this many thousands of dollars, I can get you qualified for RDAP. You are the CEO of your life. You are the one that can architect a plan and a body of work that will qualify you for the best possible outcome if you go to prison. I would just encourage you, spend your time learning about prison because it's very different from anything in society. But you could use this time to recalibrate and to rebuild your life. And you should definitely try and qualify for RDAP if it's something that you need. It could be a great mitigation strategy and also a pathway to an earlier release date. I told you I always make you 3 promises. I'm never going to lie to you. I'm never going to ask you to do something I didn't do. And I'm never going to charge anybody a penny for anything on Prison Professors. I believe you are the CEO of your life. You've got to architect a strategy to the best possible outcome. That's what I did. I didn't participate in RDAP. Wouldn't have been able to participate in RDAP because I didn't have a substance abuse problem, and I would have never said that I did. But you have to be the CEO of your life. You have to decide what's right for you. And you can't make that assessment unless you learn. So I encourage you to continue spending time on prisonprofessors.org. Go through all of our free lessons and courses. Don't hire anybody. If you feel like the need to talk to somebody, at least go to the free webinar that my sponsor, Justin Pernie, offers by just visiting whitecollaradvice.com/nonprofit. He offers it for free every week where you could ask questions, get responses. Doesn't cost you a penny. You don't need a penny for anything on Prison Professors. But if you're going to talk to somebody, at least look for somebody who's honest and not trying to sell you on some nonsense. Be very wary of anybody who promises you they can guarantee you anything. I believe in you. Be cool.